Hey team, it's Usernamekate here, and recently I headed up the road to Langen HQ for a full factory tour. A chance to see the two-stroke up close, check out the new light speed, and even hear it fired up for the very first time. If you want to watch that in its entirety, click the link above. But in today's video, I sit down with Chris Ratcliffe himself to talk all things Langan. The brand, the bikes, the engineering, and the vision behind them. So if you're into beautifully handcrafted motorcycles and the story behind them, buckle up and enjoy the interview. Right, Chris, thank
Hello.
you for
Cheers.
taking the time to interview me or interview you.
Thanks for coming.
You're welcome. Right, I guess one question to start with. Where did Langan all begin?
6 years ago, left my job as chief engineer at another motorcycle manufacturer. I just woke up one morning, thought, right, I want to do something myself, something really special, create some really special bikes made in Britain, and so I turned to the wife and said, I think we've got to sell our house.
Oh no, how did that go down?
We've been together a long time, so she's used not to this level, but you know, quite an exciting life. So it was sad, really. You know, the kids were kind of hugging the house as we were leaving on the last day. So we downsized. You know, we didn't have a lot of money, but we had a nice little bit to sort of set off the business. So I started doing a lot of engineering work for the people, you know, some automotive, some oil and gas, all kinds of things really, whilst developing the first model, the two-stroke. I was from a kitchen for the first good few months, and then got some government innovation grants to do some EV work for a motorcycle, some modular battery work. That's what that is there. So that was a project which helped sort of pay the bills, get the unit in the workshop, and start getting some set up. So I was kind of doing EV by day and then the two-stroke by night, which was.
Was that the passion though, secretly?
Yes,
the two-stroke?
and that's why I did it in the evening, because I could get myself motivated quite easily. So burning midnight oil for a long time, and then got the first employees, went to launch the two-stroke, and then COVID hit. So that was a bit of a pain, but actually, so we did a virtual online launch instead, and that was successful, and we started to see some orders coming in and a lot of interest from the press because it's such a unique engine, such a unique bike. So that gave us the confidence to kind of plough on with development. So actually COVID gave us an extra year or so of development, which we probably wouldn't have had, you know, would have gone into production quicker. And then we started to get lots of orders in, realised we need to drop all the EV stuff and actually focus on what people want at the time, and that was the two-stroke. So we did some events, got some more orders, and suddenly we was heading towards a full order book quite quickly, and needed to get into production. So getting into production was quite a challenge, setting up supply chain, and then Brexit didn't help, and a lot of aluminium on this bike, it's either carbon fibre or aluminium, and that was sourced in Ukraine. So originally, so we've had a lot of been forged in fire, and we just keep pushing on. But that's part of the story, and I think all businesses go through the same in the early days, and we've got this shows we've got the staying power, and having the big order book really helped. So then we delivered the first bikes, and all the while I sort of had another bike that I really wanted to make from the very beginning, and that's the light speed that you've seen. That's sort of a personal project of sort of my dream bike that I wanted, the sort of Street Fighter-esque handling and weight,
animal,
but in an armchair because I'm getting on.
That's fair. I mean, I'm 34, and when I wake up in the morning, everything clicks and creaks, and that's at 34. I think God help me in the future.
I'm just thankful to wake up in the morning.
So every day you wake up breathing is a good day. So Chris, one of the questions I have is, why a two-stroke in 2025, 2026? Because you're very kind of unique in that aspect, really. There's
Yeah.
there's no one really.
There's
doing
nothing
it.
else, no, and that was one of the reasons to do it. Quite frankly, I mean, you know, when I first contacted the motorcycle press saying, "Hi, it's Chris. I used to be at CCM and other places, and I'm launching a new motorcycle brand and a new bike. I've got some renders to show you." They said, "Oh, okay, yeah, you know, send them through. Once you do anything." I said, "It's a road legal 2-stroke." I said, "Send it through. We'll run it this afternoon." So
yeah,
you know,
they were like, "You have our attention."
yes. So and then that launched, you know, the first renders, and suddenly all the motorcycle press were calling us. And I thought maybe we're onto something here. So yeah, it shows the kind of interest, and you know, a lot of our customers and 2-stroke owners, they grew up on 2-strokes. You know, it's where they learned to ride, either on road or off road. It's a very unique experience, a 2-stroke, and its sound and the smell, it's in the way it delivers the power. But you know, companies stopped developing them for the last 20 years. So meanwhile, in Maranello, there was a guy, Vincenzo Mattia, had an idea for a really clever fuel injection system and lubrication system that ultimately would give a lot of durability and be able to extract loads of power, because you're always lubricating the right parts of the engine at the right time at any given RPM, and that's mapped across the rev range. So I kind of contacted him and sold him my dream of making this road going version of that using his engine, and we hit it off, you know, very like-minded, passionate people about what we could create. So we set about with him turning the engine into a road going engine, so you know, bigger charging system, you know, all the things we find out through testing, through doing not track use, so you know, sitting in traffic for 10 miles and all the boring stuff, the durability things and throttle control at low RPM. So once all that was developed, you know, I was pretty excited by what we had the first time I rode it. It's still very much a thoroughbred engine that Vins have created. You know, it's fully CNC machined. It just wants to go all the time. So and that's what the bike's about. You know, it's very engaging, and you can relive that youth where you feel like a teenager. You're changing gear all the time, just trying to keep it in the power band and squirting between corners, and it's so lightweight, it actually makes it easy to use as well at the same time. So, and
like you say, it has that nostalgic charm, I think, what like maybe older bikers want to relive, but like a rideable package.
I mean, it's quite a comfortable bike. It's, you know, it's got clip-ons. It's quite a roomy, comfortable bike to sit on, because you know, most of our customers are you know, 50, 60 years old now, but who grew up on the 2-strokes, you know, going up to 70s and 80s as well, actually.
Wow. What's your oldest customer? Like, how old would you say?
In the 80s.
In the 80s?
In the 80s, yeah.
Wow, fair play. I hope I'm riding at 80.
Yeah.
I hope I make it that long, to be fair.
Well, I think riding keeps you young, doesn't it? So I think we keep riding, you'll be okay. Yeah. Yes, it's been a very popular bike, and it helped put us on the map, which I don't think, if we'd have launched with anything else, I don't think would have got the brand out there as much. And we've still a lot of work to do. You know, a lot of people don't know who we are, but you know, those that do really admire the bikes and understand what we're creating. And you know, we're proud of producing, you know, majority of the bike in the UK. You know, it's not made in Italy or the Swedish forks. The 2-stroke, everything's manufactured in this country, which we're really proud of, and think we're the only people doing that.
So you just touched briefly on the Lightspeed when I said, you know, who's Langan and what are they about? Seems quite a passion project for you that's come to life and will be available for people to purchase in limited quantity.
Yes.
185.
185.
Yeah. What makes the Lightspeed so special, in your opinion?
In my opinion, and what makes it special to me is that, so I spent a lot of years on a VMAX with my then girlfriend and then wife on the bike, got married on it, did a lot of touring around Europe, did the Nürburgring on it, did absolutely everything on the one bike. And there's one thing that just made me want to ride it all the time. Okay, it was quite comfortable, but actually it was just the character of the engine. It's just that, you know, raw acceleration. You know, I could out accelerate all my mates on sports bikes and everything. I found a way to get used to it, to make it handle, but actually it didn't handle. It was too heavy. There was no tank range. It looked kind of weird. I thought, what if I could build a bike that was really comfortable, and I could tour the continent on. I could do all the switchbacks and the alpine passes as good as a sports bike. It was very light and looked quite pretty and I could customise myself, but actually still had all the characteristics of what drew me to that BMX in the first place, and acceleration. So I was really happy to secure the engine. You know, it was developed by Rotax for Eric Buell's race team.
Yeah.
I think he won the AMA Superbike series, did some of the World Superbike stuff, so it's got some DNA. He does prop DNA, very lightweight, loads of torque, pretty much everywhere in the rev range, but it revs out to 10.5 as well, so he's got, you know, lots of personality, lots of noise and lots of drama, and acceleration is unreal. And yeah, so I'm really happy with that. And then to put our electronics on it, I've got ride-by-wire throttle bodies, our own ECU and traction control and things like that. And we've managed to we had it in the dyno last week, making some noise, and was at peak torque at around 4,000 RPM all the way to redline, so 10.5. I mean, it's just any speed, any gear.
In the rev range, isn't it, for it to kick in?
Yeah, but it makes it easy to ride as well, because you don't have to be going super fast to have all the fun, you know. So yeah, very, very happy with it. You know, and I guess what makes it special to other people are, again, it's made in this country, which is important to some people. You know, we're showing off. We've got great manufacturers in autosport, motorsport industry, aerospace industry, and we're using all those manufacturers around. You know, we design, develop everything, and then get the best manufacturers to build the parts. Also, it's fully customisable. It's got all the trick parts. You know, every material is every component is designed for reducing weight, and every material is chosen for reducing weight as well. And that's why we've been able to achieve sort of this holy grail power to weight ratio.
Yeah. So you recently debuted some, you know, press images I was lucky enough to see, where it is the Lightspeed, but with like a real nice kind of bronzy tank almost. So that's kind of, not bronze. What colour would you say?
Yeah. It does have a name.
Does it?
Satin titanium ice sparkle.
Yes.
I think something like that. Yeah.
So that's what people got to see, you know, recently at Motorcycle Live. Now, the bike itself actually boasts some pretty ludicrous like specs, doesn't it?
Yes.
You've got the kind of 185 theme. Tell us more a little bit about that.
Well, the 185 theme came from the power, first of all, because, you know, the engine in its superbike form is capable of 185 horsepower, and we can, you know, using our electronics, we can achieve that. So then we set out to say, okay, well, what else is around that mark? Well, you're looking at these sort of hyper naked, you know, Ducati Diavel, things like that. So we're sort of just a bit higher in power of that, but look how heavy they are. You know, they're 200 and something kilograms, 220 kilograms or something dry.
Yeah.
You know, and what Langen are about is engineering really lightweight bikes, because for me, first of all, it makes them handle better. You know, it's like the magic sauce to make a bike handle better instantly once you've got your geometry sorted and the right componentry. So I thought, okay, well, let's aim for 185, and I think we might have just touched under as well. I mean, depending on what kind of spec, you know, if you've got the titanium exhaust on there as well, the race exhaust, then it does go under that spec. So we had the 185, and then, you know, we didn't really know how many to build. We wanted to keep it quite exclusive, but more than the two-stroke, because the Lightspeed will be sold worldwide with, you know, lots of orders and interest in the US. So 185, you know, we're simple people, and we thought it's easy to remember, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like the magic three: 185 horsepower, kg, and availability. Yeah. So Langen is all about exclusivity and limited production numbers and stuff like that. How many have you sold, or do you have, like, what is it limited to? The two-stroke, and we know it's 185 for the Lightspeed, but the two-stroke's been, you know, it's current, it's out, they're being made. So where are you at with that?
So we're only making 100 of the two-stroke. It's first model, so it's going to be uber special for the first sort of 100 people. Of those, we've actually got reservations on 98 now, so maybe by the time the video goes out, it'll be a complete sellout, and we can announce that. We're about midway through production. It's been ramping up a lot over the last few weeks and months. So we'll have all those bikes built and delivered in certainly by summertime next year. You know, we're currently at around a 6-month waiting list for an order that goes in over the last week or so to sort of spec the bike and then build the bike to that spec.
I would say that's fantastic turnaround for such a customizable like bike? There's so many little intricate details that customers can decide on, isn't there?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about like what people have chosen on their bikes, because I've had a look at some of them two-strokes that were at the show, and as you're looking at them you just notice like different things, like at the end of the chassis or the frame you've got like gold or you've got silver, or with the suspension, the cartridges, some are gold, some are black, and you've got like clip-ons, and then one's got some flat bars. Like, how does it, like, what can you do to these bikes?
Yeah, well, it's funny really, because we started out, or I started out wanting a really easy life, and I was going to make 100 of the same bike because you know, for evolving production, that's the easiest thing to do, and so that's why it's such a high spec to begin with. Carbon everything, twin Brembo brakes with hella calipers. It's just completely tricked out to begin with. And I thought, well, that's it. Yeah. Everyone can have the best bike.
That's it.
And then the very first customer through the door who wanted to spec his bike said, you know, could you do a mud guard? Could you do a heel guard? You know, carbon fibre. Could I have the paint in a different colour? And suddenly, this little options list that we hadn't got started to grow. And thought, we're not making 100 of the same bike. We're actually making 100 individual bikes, and that's. Yeah. That was never a part of the original plan, to do the customising and individuality, but that's actually one of our biggest strengths, and I think what really appeals to people, to get something that is almost like a full custom build, but with a manufacturer's warranty and OEM, you know, the team we've got behind there and the engineering that goes into getting it into production, but it's a truly custom bike. So then, you know, we started to add things that we thought people would like and give them options on the chassis colour, the little machine end parts, that's bonded into the chassis to make sure the geometry is always absolutely perfect. Then we brought in some lightweight Diamag wheels. Then somebody came in and said, well, the clip-ons are comfy, but actually, you know, I've got some problems from my two-stroke riding days in the past, and you know, most of our customers have some injury from riding two-strokes or bikes in the past. So then we developed a bar riser kit and a new top clamp, and then that gives you a world of options for different rental bars. So the options list has actually grown over the last couple of years through people just asking us for things, and we did a full front end upside down fork kit, which is, you know, 12 new CNC machine components that connect to the forks, full 70 odd fasteners that we changed to titanium fasteners. There's all sorts of things we've done for people, and it makes it really interesting. You know, we love it. You know, some customers can spend hours and hours here with the design team, and they'll have some photos of cars they have, or some other inspiration.
To, like, match the cars and stuff.
Some of them are sat next to the sort of car in the garage. So yeah, it's nice. So that, you know, we're creating a little book on the 100 bikes, and you know, we know where they all are. Yeah.
That's amazing. And you had mentioned before there's one gent who makes it his mission to try and locate and identify where he's seen different bikes. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, he started a spreadsheet. Some train spotting, Langan spotting.
What an absolute legend. Yeah, that's iconic. So with the two-stroke, talk to the audience about price. Like, what are you looking at? What's that starting at? Because obviously, like you say, it's so customizable, and things, you know, if you want to upgrade bits, even though it's still very highly spec'd as it is, what can you be talking in terms of cash money?
Yeah, well, the standard bike is 29,400 plus VAT, which is about around £35,000 if you're in the UK. Yes. And for that, you get a fully tricked out bike. So, you know, there's a lot of people taking it in that spec, maybe with the odd little carbon embellishment or something like that.
I just want to interject here and say I'm going to put some B-roll in. The quality of these bikes, it warrants the price.
We couldn't build it for any cheaper.
They are so special. They're so special. So sorry, carry on. I interrupted you there.
And then, you know, some people like to tick every option because they're, you know, sometimes the collectors who want, you know, the best of everything. So, you know, the front end kit, upside down front end kit is I think around 5k, and you know, the Diamag wheels are 2.5k. So, you know, you could soon with VAT be getting up to close to 50k on a build if that's what somebody wants. But that's to get something totally unique and, you know, top spec everything with their own custom bits in there as well.
Can you remember or recall like the highest spec, like in terms of money? What's the most expensive one that someone's created? About 50.
I think it's just a few quid short of 50. Yeah,
So cool.
yeah.
I need to win the lottery. So we've touched on how crazily customizable the two strokes are. Do you have the same vision and dream for the Lightspeed, or is that just kind of what you see is what you get?
No, I think we have to. I think we've realised people really want it, and we're able to do it. The big manufacturers aren't able to do it in that level. You know, they can have some levels of customization, sort of your seat materials and paint and things like that. But no, I mean the first thing we always do, and something we offered from the very beginning, is tailoring of the ergonomics and geometry. So that comes as standard. You know, the bike is very important to us. That we put so much effort into how the bike rides, how it handles, how it feels when you, in terms of comfort, that it's impossible actually to do that for all shapes and sizes of rider. And you'll find the standard bike will be perfectly suited if you're my height and shape and weight. But then we go, you know, either side beyond that to make sure, you know, we can produce a lowering kit, so we create new suspension to lower the bike by, you know, 30-40 millimeters if somebody wants it. It's already quite low at 790. It's actually lower than the two-stroke. But you know, we do it in a way that we ensure the geometry gives it the same amount, or as close as the same amount of dynamic performance as the standard bike.
And you mentioned about a racier exhaust maybe in the future for the Lightspeed.
Yeah,
Tell us about that.
Yes. Well, we've got the current exhaust, which we've launched it with, the sort of the more sort of cruisery, muscle cruisery exhaust, which have some nice machine details matching the dash and things like that, and that's been quite popular in the US market. But you know, we've been dying to get on this full titanium lightweight race exhaust. It's loud. It's almost like a straight through upswept pipe. But with that you'll be able to take it on track and you're able to get your knee down and get to the edge of the tyre. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we'll have that on the bike pretty soon.
And speaking of the edges of the tyre, it's got a big old 240 rear, hasn't it?
Yeah, 240 section. I mean, you know, it's got a lot of torque. Like I say, we want it to be able to launch quickly. You know, we want to be able to get the torque down in the corners. But it did present a bit of a problem because that tyre was made for the Ducati Diavolo, and there are no wheels that exist apart from some sort of custom ones in America and things like that. You know, no performance lightweight wheels that exist for that tyre, for a dual-sided swing arm. So we had to go and design, and we've got our own forged strong aluminium CNC machined all the weight out of the wheels, and we've got our own sets of wheels now, and actually that's something now the customer can actually customise if they wish as well, the spoke pattern in the wheels. So we're also working on some spoked, more classic look wheels, but again they'll be a little bit different, you know, titanium spokes, carbon covered rims.
Sounds incredible, and I can't wait to see all these little bits on the bike in the future. The Lightspeed, was kostet das? How much will it cost?
£37,000 plus VAT if you're in the UK, so around 44,400 on the road.
Cool, awesome. And then you can, like the two-stroke, go crazier with customisable bits, and then you could probably maybe get it to what, like 60-70k, you reckon?
Well, I guess we'd have to design some more aftermarket bits that people want. Yeah, I mean, there is the super special version, which again was always sort of in the plan to be the second model, is the Langen Turbo, which is, you know, we've designed the Lightspeed from the very beginning to package our own turbo system just because we can. You know, taking some technology of an iconic bikes of the past and bringing it up to date with modern electronics and making it actually drivable, you know. So there's you know, getting rid of that lag, controlling the boost and waste really meticulously. So that's coming. You know,
that's definitely coming.
That's definitely going to come because we sort of announced we were sort of working on it, and people have been ordering it already. You know, I've told them I don't know when it's ready. I don't know how much it costs. They said, we make this bike and we want this bike. So, you know, it'll be the kind of bike that I would imagine we're looking around 250 brake horsepower in its road drivable form, and then, you know, there'll be a map where you know, we're not responsible for what happens after that.
waiver.
It's sort of drag strip only map,
Yeah.
which will see it go. You know, the number could begin with a 3. So
Wow.
yeah.
That's absolutely unreal.
Yeah, but that's been engineered into the bike already. We've just got a lot of development to do with getting that drivability, because we want it to be a usable road bike, basically.
Oh, so cool, so cool. So I think one of the really special things about the Langan experience, what we've had a bit of a chat about behind the camera when it was off before, was, you know, you've got limited people, engineers working on the bikes. It's not like there's, you know, a bajillion on a production line and you don't know who's actually built that bike. Like, you can literally tie a few people, or maybe 1 or 2 to a singular bike.
Yeah, I think that's something, you know, we've purposefully done that. You know, we've all worked in environments producing mass motorbikes and cars in the past, but actually I think some value in this, and you do see this in the car world a little bit, where okay, the sub-assemblies are done here, but the final assembly of the bike, we have 2 bays, and we have a guy on each who is, you know, very experienced in building these bikes, and they will see a bike from the engine through to the finished products. You know, Vincenzo Mattia in Italy, in Maranello, personally hand builds every single engine. So you know, he's signing them off and he tests it. We've got a bike over there on the dyno that runs the bike and does all the calibration. Then it comes here, and one person will be involved in the build. And I think that gives, you know, a huge sense of pride and responsibility to that person to, you know, I think ensure you're getting the absolute best bike possible. Rather than, you know, thousands of people on a production line putting a nut and bolt in each.
And in terms of servicing, like, how does that work for customers?
Yeah, so at the moment it's a very personal service. So we come to your house.
Oh, you come to the house?
Well, I don't always personally, but
Someone from Langan.
I have done at times when we've been too busy. But yeah, we'll collect the bike, we'll bring it back here, and then, you know, chances are that the person that built the bike will be the one looking after it during your ownership as well, doing the servicing, any updates, maintenance work, and things like that, and then we'll deliver it back to you. So it's a personal service, you know. With the 2-stroke, that works extremely well, because, you know, most people aren't commuting on it every day, so you know, you can come back here for a week and then go back to them. And you know, we'll try to keep that as long as possible. We are talking to some service or potential service partners throughout the locations which are a bit further away from Manchester and Wigan. You know, we're very careful to make sure they give the same experience that we do. And obviously, when we get into export models in the US, you know, we're appointing the same thing there. So we'll have.
That was going to be my next question. Like, how are they going to go?
Yeah, so that we, you know, we'll have some in-country agents basically dotted around as well. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, Chris, I guess there's just one final thing from me, and it's, if you need a road tester,
you come back in spring.
Yes, I will. I'll be right here.